let's start the conversation off with something heated.
Something heated?
Yes.
Like rays being heated?
No. Like, let's talk a little bit about Sprinter vans.
Oh, Sprinter vans. Okay, every single person I know is annoyed with me at this point from all my talking about Sprinter vans, so I guess it won't be anything new for all my friends, but I don't know, for all of those who don't know about Sprinter vans, they're frustrating.
Frustrating, I think, is an understatement for you, just because of the stuff that you've been through it.
Yeah.
But as you know, obviously, I have a Sprinter van. Me and my wife have a Sprinter van, and we've had like almost the same problems. You know, with like all the diesel emission stuff. So if there's people out there that are watching this that have Sprinter vans, and maybe they're going through the same thing too, you know, you did a couple things to yours. I've been kind of fixing mine and staying stock a little bit, but it was like a huge shock when you were finally having some emission problems. You bought yours used, right?
Yeah, I bought it used at 106,000 miles, and like it's a 2013, so it's not incredibly old or anything, but those emission systems are just super tricky. So
yeah, so mine's a 14, and it had 150,000 miles on it, and almost not immediately after I got it, but it seemed like, you know, we were picking away at it. And then some of the major things started going wrong. So we started going into the forums. Like we were just talking earlier when we were riding, and we were saying, you know, gosh, you know, every Sprinter forum on Facebook, every Sprinter forum on the internet.
Countless hours.
Go out there, and it's just countless hours of people that are just frustrated with it. And it really is a shame, because I think it puts a really bad mark on Mercedes itself. Just because it just seems like the stuff that they are putting on those vans are very fragile, and it almost seems like they're built to fail.
Yeah, I've often wondered that myself, honestly, if they're built to fail at 150, 160,000 miles. It almost seems like it, but I mean, who really knows, honestly? Like, it could just be, maybe there's not a better design for it. I don't know. It's really all to meet the emissions regulations that America has. So I'm sure that's tough, but I mean, come on, it could be a little more affordable, you know?
And the vans aren't cheap.
Right.
To buy them outright, just a cargo van is, you know, anywhere from 40 to, I guess, 60 to 70,000.
Yeah, 60 to 70.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a real base stock one with nothing crazy on it. So I thought that was just an interesting thing to kind of start things off with, because we've had almost the same exact problems.
Yeah.
Although I don't necessarily drive mine, or I haven't driven mine as much as you did. How many miles did you put on your van?
Like I said, I got it at 106, and all the issues happened around 165. So I put 60,000 miles on in just over 2 years. So, I mean, I was trekking back and forth across the country a couple times a year, and honestly, it was great until that big issue hit when I was stranded in New Hampshire. And it was like an $8,000 repair for the exhaust pipe. Like, it's insane.
That is a lot of money to repair a pipe.
Yeah.
That comes from the turbo area, and it just kind of comes down, and it's a collector. It's the DPF pipe. Not to get too into some of this stuff, because some of these people are like, what are these guys talking about, you know? And it's like, well, we're talking about Sprinters because we both own one, and we both have had a lot of problems. So eventually, you did the delete. And then just had problems after that too. Yeah,
I did the delete, kind of solved all those problems, but a whole new can of worms opened up right after with what I really don't even know. I ended up selling the thing before I figured it out.
It's always the mystery, something was into the engine, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, this engine is roasted, or it could be, or it could not be. We're not going to know until we do this test.
Yeah.
And then something could have sucked into the engine or something.
Exactly.
So my fingers are crossed, hoping that none of that happens, but I'm this close to doing delete. Seriously, like that close. If I have to spend $10,000 every 40,000 miles, just say 40,000 miles, you got to pay 10 grand to get the thing back running again. To me, that just does not seem like a really good. I mean, so moving on. So you have a new van now.
Yeah, just flew out to Colorado and bought a Ford E250. It's not a high top, but I'll make it work, make a little bit of a sacrifice, but I'm super excited to start the build process and see what I can do with it.
And then we were talking about before when you go, well, sure, the van is nice and it's not a diesel and I don't have to worry about that. But what about that ride?
You know, it's just not a Mercedes Sprinter.
I think that's where they got us.
Yeah, they get us with that Mercedes quality.
Once you've driven one.
Yeah, once you've driven a Sprinter. Actually, when I bought my Sprinter originally, I was looking at the Dodge ProMasters, and the guy who sold me my Sprinter said, do not buy a ProMaster until you've driven a Sprinter.
Of course.
That's what he said, because he knew.
That's the way they're going to get you. If you've never driven a Sprinter before. So there's two things I was going to go with. Definitely try and drive a Sprinter, because once you drive one, you'll be like, oh my God, I've got to have one.
Yeah.
And then once you have one, you kind of realize that the engines in them are, not the engine itself, but everything attached to the engine is very fragile.
Right.
So I know that there's a lot of people out there right now who have Sprinters that are probably going through the same thing. Maybe they've already bought one and we're doing them a service, because now they're going to be like, uh-oh, now I'm going to really start paying attention to some stuff.
Got to read them forums.
I don't know if reading forums will help, or just make you want to just sell it right off the bat. But it is the ride. Mm-hmm. The ride in a Sprinter, either if you're driving or just riding in one, is like no other.
Yeah, the turning radius alone is like addicting. Like, it has a 29-foot turning radius, where in comparison to my new Ford, it's the same length from bumper to bumper, but has a 42-foot turning radius.
Wow.
So, like, just pulling into a parking spot is so much more difficult without that 29-foot turning radius, because you can just swing right in with the Sprinter, at least the 144 wheelbase Sprinter like I had. But like, that's a big difference.
I have the super long. I have the 170 extended, so it's super long, but that thing will get...
It's probably still like a 34-foot turning radius.
It'll get in way more places than my pickup truck will. I have a Nissan double cab pickup truck. And that thing will not turn at all. And that Sprinter, you just one finger and just go right into wherever you need to go.
They have their turning radius figured out.
Yeah, that's one thing. A lot of things figured out, but not the emissions.
Do you know about the Sprinters in Europe? I believe they have a different emission system, because it doesn't have to meet the super tight American emission standards. I've heard they're more reliable, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I know that some of the forums that I go to are European, but I really don't know what the difference is, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we're not in Europe. we're in Cleveland.
So with the van now, like, you live in Michigan, and once this winter season goes by, are you going to go to some different? Are you going to go down south, and what's the next stop?
So I think to ride out the rest of 2019, I want to make a couple trips to Tennessee, go to Windrock, ride Baker's Creek Preserve, hang out with Dakota Norton. That'd be sweet. But I know you were saying you wanted to go down there too.
I do too.
Yeah, it's so awesome down there.
Maybe not Windrock, but Baker's Creek for sure. I heard Windrock is
It's
really
a little
steep.
gnarly. It's pretty gnarly.
Well, I mean, for someone that rides like you, it's not that big of a deal, but you know.
I think you could still have fun there, assuming good weather. Once it's wet, then it gets a little sketchy. But
yeah, I'm definitely a fair weather rider no matter what. Like, if I was to ride at Windrock, it would have to be like perfect conditions.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting into that time now where it's like middle November right now. It's starting to get cold, but down there it should be
prime. Yeah.
Just fantastic conditions. And hopefully Dakota's down there to show you around a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. See if you can keep up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't keep up with them.
No, I think
Not a chance.
Okay, well, you just go ahead of me, and I'll be back here like that. And 10 seconds later, I wouldn't see him.
Yeah. I remember like when I first started riding mountain bikes, Dakota's actually a huge reason that I got on a mountain bike. He gave me a call one day just because I knew him from BMX, and he's like, dude, you have to get a mountain bike, start racing downhill. So I took him up on it, got a job at a bike shop, and here we are riding mountain bikes. But
how many years later? How long
I think
ago was
like
that?
almost 5 now.
5 years ago, he said, get a mountain bike. You're like, all right, well, I'll go check it out. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
it was right after he won dual slalom at Crankworks Whistler. But I think didn't he won that, right?
He did. I remember the headlines when he won that. It was like, who is Dakota Norton?
Yeah, dude from Michigan.
Yeah, some dude from Michigan that just shows up at Crankworks and like wins the dual slalom.
Yeah, so I remember I used to ride with him like back in Mountain Creek and stuff, and I could like see him in the distance, like keep him in range, and then I don't know, something happened. I remember Whistler 2017. We hit the mountain, and within like 5 seconds, he's just out of sight, and there's not a chance I can keep up with him now.
Yeah.
Like something clicked. He started training harder. Like he just found his flow, and now he's unstoppable.
Have you been to a World Cup before?
Snowshoe World Cup.
You went to the snowshoe?
Yeah, that was sweet.
Was it like at another level?
It's insane.
Were
Like
you when you were there, like I'm sure you had like these expectations because that's the first one you've been to see like the downhill guys at the World Cup level.
Yep.
Did you have some like expectations, like, you know, I'm sure these guys are good, but how good is good? And then when you got there to see it in person, like, was it completely a different scenario?
I mean, I know, like, from riding with Dakota, like, I know those dudes go really fast.
Yeah.
But seeing them pound rocks the way they do, and then, like, I don't know, like, their bikes kind of blow my mind, too. They'll be pounding through a rock garden, and their bike is almost silent. And it's, like, it's really impressive to see what the mechanics and the riders have accomplished to get to that level. So it was really cool.
And from what I've heard, there's not a whole lot of, like, works stuff going on with the mountain bikes. I mean, the stuff that they have on their bikes is stuff that you can buy.
Yeah, for the most part, I would say.
For the most part.
I saw a couple of different like suspension links and whatnot, but for the most part, they're running like your standard high quality downhill components, you know?
Right. Yeah, I unfortunately missed that. I really wanted to go. I forget what we had going on, but I didn't get to go, and I totally regret it. And I hear rumors of it coming back to snowshoe.
Really?
In 2 years, maybe?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't.
2021, maybe?
I heard it probably isn't coming for the coming year, but I don't know.
Right,
Hopefully,
not 2020, but maybe 2021 it's going to come back. I think that they were pleasantly surprised with the turnout.
Yeah.
With how rowdy the crowd was. It seemed like all the riders really liked that. Even the guys from Europe that were like, you know, because they get pretty rowdy over there too.
Oh yeah.
But you put them in West Virginia, snowshoe, and all these people are coming in from all over the place. I could imagine like it was pretty crazy. And then it rained a little bit before the race, which made it greasy and gnarly. But it doesn't seem to faze those guys. The World Cup downhill guys, they just
ready for anything.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I watch all the interviews. I watch Win TV. Win Masters is a fantastic interviewer, just great.
Those are so entertaining.
They are very entertaining, and I love it. So keep it up, Win.
Oh yeah.
But you know, when that subject is brought up about wet wet conditions, it's really wet out here. How are you feeling about that or whatever? And almost every single rider says,
throw on some mud tires and run it.
I just that's just what it is. Everybody's got to run the same track. And,
Yep.
It is definitely a mental thing too.
Yeah.
So talking about mental, they're getting ready and it's just pouring rain and they know they have to make that run. And you watch them run, it's like they don't seem like it's that much slower in the wet. So like stuff that you do with slopestyle stuff, when it's raining, they're like, no way.
Yeah, there's not a chance. We're going up a 13-foot wood kicker in the wet and spinning off it.
But not only the wood kicker, but like the dirt, the dirt kickers, the dirt lips, and the dirt landings. I mean, a lot of that stuff, it depends on where you're at in the world as to, what kind of dirt it is. But if it's clay or something like that.
Yeah, we can't do what we're supposed to do in it.
Yeah, there's no
We're
way.
the downhill guys, they do it anyways.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, here's the 4 beeps. So, now's your time to go.
It almost gives some people an advantage. Like the guy who's not as wide open in the dry, loose stuff. I don't know. Like,
it might.
We've seen some crazy videos of Danny Hart coming down in the mud. That is insane to watch.
That is
so cool.
That is a great inspirational video to watch. If you've never seen it, Danny Hart, world champs. That's great. So with the mind stuff, like with getting ready for your run, if you're wherever you're at this big contest and you're next to all these guys or whatever. I mean, is the feeling when you're watching it, for someone who's watching it, just seems like you guys are just a bunch of buds up there getting ready to drop in? Like, is that really how it is? Or
I think slopestyle has become, it's the tricks are so gnarly, the courses are so big. Like, we're all buds, of course, we all ride, we all have fun together, but there's almost a feeling of like mutual support. Like, we're all competing against each other, but everyone wants everyone to get to the bottom, because like it sucks so bad when you crash. Like, nobody wants to see their friends or even their competitors go down, because we all know how it feels. And like, if everyone can stick their run, and it's a great day, and may the best man win. But like, it's just, we're all up there supporting each other. I think that's a really cool aspect about it.
Right.
But it's nerve-wracking for sure. I tell myself, like, do not let my heart rate go up. The second, if I'm sitting in the starting gate and my heart rate goes up, like, that's dangerous. Like,
really?
Yeah, I think it's dangerous, because like, if you're too nervous to do your trick, you need to be clear-minded, focusing on your trick to not make a mistake. And the second you're nervous, you think about a mistake and you'll make that mistake, because it's so mental.
So do you do something like either physically or mentally to help yourself, prepare yourself before you drop in?
I mean, it kind of starts the night before. Get a good night's sleep, eat a good breakfast, get there on time. It's kind of just all those textbook things that help prepare me. But the biggest thing is just don't let distractions in. Like, don't let your nerves get the best of you, really. It's just,
Right.
You have to consciously think to stop your nerves. And it's like, that's kind of the biggest thing I've learned since I started the whole slopestyle thing. And it's a challenge every year, especially at the beginning of the year too. It's a challenge because I haven't done it all winter. By the end of the year, I kind of have that game perfected. So I'm hoping for 2020, at least I'll come in knowing what I learned this year.
Right.
And that was like a big thing that I learned throughout 2019. It's just that mental game like you were talking about.
Right. And do you think that just going to all the contests helps as well? Just being there and being in that environment and being on that schedule and whatever, you kind of learn that that's the way it goes, and the more that you do it, the better you are at contests?
Oh, absolutely. It's all experience. Like, you look at a guy like Reeder or Semenuk, those dudes have been in the game forever, and they show up and they know what to do. Like, they might make a mistake here and there, but like, their mental game is as good as it could possibly be, it seems. So
they're all kind of thought out.
Yeah.
Yes, like before their first run, they're watching other guys doing what they're doing, but they have their run in their head, and I'm not saying it's a mind game, but it's strategic. I mean, if you've got 2 runs, what are you going to do on your first run? Then is there even a thought of what if your first run doesn't go as planned? Do you even think about the second run?
See, that's kind of a weird one for me. I haven't entirely figured it out, but like, I think it's good to have a first and a second run plan. And for me, what I've been doing is, if my first run does take a turn for the worst, I usually try to redeem myself on my first run and my second run. Like, I try to get redemption on that first run. Where if I do a good first run, kind of like what happened at US Open this year, I did a pretty good first run. It put me into 3rd place, and then Nikolai bumped me down, like a bunch of people bumped me out, and I had that second run planned, and I didn't really know like if I was gonna have to pull out that second run until after my first run. I was like, all right, I'm not in first, like, these dudes are beating my score, I have a little bit more I could do, let's do it. And then it worked out. So, and I ended up taking the win. But that was like probably the most real that like my strategies have felt, is
Right.
when like my strategy actually came into play and worked.
So that gets easier with time, I guess, or easier with each contest. You kind of learn that.
Yeah.
And that was also an epic, like, 2 runs, to put together, with those all those heavy hitters in there, man. It's fantastic. I think it is a mentally prepared game. What you guys do is crazy. But But what most people don't know is you guys have been doing that for a long time. It's not like you just woke up one morning and said, I'm just going to whip flip this whatever, this spine or whatever. Like, it just doesn't happen like that. This is years and years and years of riding and slamming and medical stuff and getting fixed and getting rehabbed and all that stuff and going right back at it again and doing it again.
Right.
Like it's
all just baby steps too. Like I started out just a little kid on a BMX bike, going to the skate park, building dirt jumps in my yard, and I learned every single trick one step at a time. Like that's the thing. I think sometimes kids will look at like a pro rider, like they're so good, like how could I ever be that good? But what they don't see is that pro rider started out at the same place, he learned an X up, and then he learned a bar spin. And it's just little baby steps every month or every 2 weeks or something, however much you ride. If you learn something every time you ride, do that for 10 years and you're gonna have a lot of stuff you know how to do. You're gonna be a pretty advanced rider. And that's the fun in it, honestly, is those baby steps and seeing like how far you can go in the long run.
That's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
10 years. It's going to take me 10 years to learn how to do stuff? It's like, man, I don't know. But at that level, though, it does. It does take 10 years to get everything together. It's a ton of time behind the bars.
Oh, yeah.
And someone like me, who was never really into the tricks and stuff, I was just into just going fast.
Just riding, yeah.
But, I can relate to how much time it takes to get to a certain point. And it is time. And you do have to spend the time. And there's people out there with natural talent, and then there's people who have to work for it. Now, we had Ricky Carmichael in here, was riding.
Ricky came here. When?
Ricky Carmichael was here.
Dude, I wish I could have came for that.
It was pretty crazy.
Ricky's like my hero.
Well, he should be, because the guy's like, he's the GOAT. Like he's the best motocrosser ever lived.
I remember I was at Redbud the year he retired, and I got to see him win that day.
Well, there you go.
And that was so awesome.
Yeah.
That was like, I think that was 2007.
It was pretty surreal having him here in this room where we're at right now. He was in this room.
That's so cool.
Hanging out, and I was hanging out with him, which is crazy. Thank you, Ricky. That was awesome. But anyway, we did a ton of like autographs and stuff with him. But anyway, he said in the interview, if you look through YouTube, we'll look that up later so you can see
That'd
it.
Be sweet.
It's really cool. And he says if he would have had more BMX in his life, he said that would have made his Supercross so much easier. And that he had to learn everything. It wasn't like a natural talent. He didn't have natural talent. He had to work for everything. Yeah. But I think what you guys are doing, what you're doing on this thing, is it's beyond comprehension for the normal person. And I'm not saying that just to toot your horn. I'm just telling you from a person who doesn't do that kind of thing, to watch it being done like live in person and just see you guys doing it time after time is mind blowing. Like you're just like, how is that even possible? Like some of the lines you pull out, which that video that you put up last year of you here doing those crazy lines. I mean, that video blew up on Pink Bike, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. But I don't know where the ceiling is with this stuff, and I don't know where the ceiling is here with this park. But it seems like guys like yourself, guys like Marcus Christopher, guys like Nick Bruce, guys like Reed Boggs that's here this weekend. I mean, you guys come in here and just do stuff that's just mind blowing, and it's just like, whoa, hold on a minute. So for those of you who are watching, if you ever get a chance to come and ride with you, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty good. And who knows where the ceiling is for this stuff. But we're going to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Keep pushing.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to go out this summer on the tour, right? You're going to do the Slopestyle tour?
Yeah, doing the FMB World Tour. Going to do all the gold events, and then hopefully I can break into the Diamond Series, which is like the Crankworks World Tour, pretty fast. I would like to be on that stage for sure. That's my goal right now, is to get into Crankworks and see what I can do there. But
cool.
Until then, I'm going to be here pushing the limits and pushing the limits of whatever you guys build.
Keep coming to raise, man.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep pushing those limits. I think it's great. But yeah, so you drive down from Michigan to come to the park.
It's about 2 hours, not too bad.
Yeah. So what is it about Rays that you like?
Oh, I think one of the coolest parts, I was going to mention this a second ago, is that after every summer, you guys close down for the summer and then build some new stuff. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait. All summer, I just think about what could they possibly be building new that I could find some crazy line to incorporate with it. So, I don't know, all the new stuff you guys build every year, I look forward to that every summer. While I'm out doing the FMB World Tour and stuff, I'm thinking about, like, what you guys are doing here. I really do. Like, it's so sweet.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually. So that's actually the only reason why we don't put up spy photos.
Mm-hmm.
Is so you won't know
I get
where
curious.
all the crazy lines are.
Yeah.
We're saying we're not putting this up because of Dave.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Oh,
then
geez.
you have to come here yourself and actually ride it yourself and find out.
I'll come ride it.
So the sport course got changed a little bit. So do you have like some stuff you've been eyeing up, some good transfers or anything?
In the sport course, I've just been trying to go fast through there. Like just hold like a crazy amount of momentum through there. I don't know, I've been having fun with that lately. But
I think there's some cool transfers in there somewhere. Yeah. I think you're going to come up with something ridiculous.
Hopefully I can go in there and spot
I'm not
something.
going to hold you to that, but I know that you'll just find something you'd be like, oh, I can gap from right there to over there. But yeah, it's absolutely great to have you come here on a regular basis. And is there anybody you want to thank or anything you want to mention?
I mean, I just want to say thanks to you guys for always building cool stuff and like providing something for us to ride. Like a lot of other places have closed down and this place is still going strong. So that's like the best thing. Do you find that
kind of weird? That Rays continues to be like...
I don't find it weird. I mean, I think you guys are... I find it weird that other places are closing down, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like more places should have stayed open, but, I mean, it ends up bringing more people here in the long run, and, like, the more scene we can have at this place, like, the more people can push each other, the more, like, connections you can make with people, friends, everything. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's working out how it's working out, and we'll go from there. So.
It still amazes me every year how we just continue to be... have more riders and new people every day. Every single day, new people come in the door. And we get phone calls that say, I don't want to go there because I don't feel like I can ride good enough to ride that place. What would you say? What would you say to somebody who would call up and say that?
You know, I've heard the same thing. Like, I'll talk to people. Honestly, whenever someone buys a bike at Spoke Life or whatever, you know, like people I know back home, they buy a mountain bike. I'm like, go to Rays all winter. Like, you'll build your skills up from the ground up. And, like, you guys have every single thing to ride here, from beginner all the way up to advanced. Like, there's something for everybody. I stress that to every single person. Because so many people are like, oh, that stuff's scary. Like, and they really don't even know what's in here because there's so much here. So,
right. I think a lot of that comes from people who have never even just been here.
Right.
Just come in and try it.
Yeah, if you come in and try it, like, find me. I'll take you under my wing and show you what you could be riding, and like I'll show you the lines, whatever. I love helping new people out riding.
Yeah.
Like,
it seems like that's the going thing here too. Is you know, they go, do you do lessons there? And I go, we don't do formal lessons, but there's people that are here, like yourself, like myself, like other people that are here, that are more than willing to help out. You know, if they see somebody struggling with something, you're going to go over there and say, hey, man, do you have anything? You know, or do you need some help? Or, you know, hey, man, it'd be better.
Even as little as bike setup. Like,
just like today, remember the guy up on the deck on the pump track when we were trying to, that Manny around the deck? And he had his bars laid way down on a brand new dirt jumper the guy just bought. He had no idea how to set up his bike. And I said, hey, man, if you just roll those bars up like that. He came back to me and shook my hand and said, hey, man, that was the best thing. Like, I was wondering why my bike was running so crappy, that it just didn't feel right. And now that they're in the right spot, he's like, it's the greatest thing ever. He's like, thank you so much. You changed the whole way I look at riding bikes.
Yeah.
And just that simple little encouragement.
It doesn't take much.
Little bike change.
It doesn't take much, like tire pressure, like seat height, gearing, any of that. It's so simple. And like, if you just come here, there is helpful people here who are more than willing to help you and just kind of point you in the right direction, and you'll be on your wheels riding around happy. And you like, it's not even a big thing for us. It's just we enjoy helping people. So
So I want you to say this, because you don't know I was going to say any of this. But so for those people who think that I have a full suspension mountain bike and I can't, it doesn't work at Ray's.
I brought mine in earlier.
Do you like these?
I like them, but I folded a set the other day.
What do you mean folded? Like it just went down?
I
like
bent
this?
both sides down. I had a big gap at a pump track in Michigan.
Does Shimano help you out?
No, but I got them warranted.
Oh.
They warranted them super good. So
well,
yeah, their warranty department's on point right now.
I guess that doesn't really matter then. As long as they're going to warranty it.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's like,
you better watch what you say if Shimano's throwing you some stuff.
No.
But I mean,
that's what's
good.
nice about buying stuff is you can just warranty it when I can just warranty it when I destroy it.
That is true. That is true. So let's before we were interrupted by the SD card on our new GoPro 8.
Shout out to GoPro.
Shout out to GoPro.
I'm getting a GoPro next week, an 8. I'm stoked.
Did you send yours in to get the $100 off?
No, they were just gonna hook me up with one. So I'm super thankful for that.
Hook up.
Oh yeah.
GoPro?
Shout out to Greg.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Greg,
thank you, Greg. Yeah, super thankful. I can't wait to see what I can do with that thing.
It's pretty intense. I haven't had one since the 4.
Same. I have a 4 right now.
Oh, wait till you
I know,
see all the crazy stuff on this thing. It's pretty insane.
I'm stoked.
Brooke has been doing a lot of the stuff. Thank you, Brooke. We appreciate that. So anyway, so let's get back to the enduro bike stuff. Because yours is actually an enduro bike. I have a trail bike. But we both have dirt jumpers, and dirt jumpers are the preferred bike here.
Right.
But you did bring your enduro bike here today.
Yeah, I randomly just brought it because I wanted to see what I could do with it here. And you can rip the green line, the skinnies. I took it in the resi room, and I backflipped the resi on it today.
Well,
like,
come on.
No, I'm just saying, like, you don't need a dirt jumper. You can ride any bike here, and it's a mountain bike park. It's not a skate park. So you can't make that excuse of, I don't have the right bike. You can literally ride any bike here.
I know.
You know? That's what I'm trying to get at there.
Well, so, yeah. But the thing is like, you know, these are just super efficient around here. And I understand that, but it's not like you have to rent a dirt jumper here to ride here. You can bring your cross-country bike.
Oh, yeah.
You can bring your fun trail bike or even your enduro bike. Your bike's got a coil on it. And I saw you out there ripping through the micro rhythm and the skinnies and stuff like that. And I was like, what is he riding? And I kind of looked over and I'm like,
just having fun, man.
He's on his trail bike. I'm like, that's crazy good. I was stoked to see that because a lot of people don't do that. And I was going to do it this year and film it and just say.
I thought about doing that too.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it together.
Let's do some trail bike footy.
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
Let's
and
do
just
it.
say, hey, look, you can bring your trail bike here. It's not that big a deal. Now, throw some flats on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Flats would be cool.
I mean, I ride clips with my trail bike, but I wouldn't ride clips in here.
You
but
could, but
you totally could. You totally could. Yeah. So I forget where we were going with this stuff because we were talking about GoPro, and the GoPro got in the middle of our enduro talk. But that's all right. But
throwing shade at the GoPro.
I mean, it is not. I mean, whatever. Who knows who's going to see this? The 5 people that see it, you know.
Yeah. Hopefully, a couple more people see it than that.
Well, I hope, but you're the first one, so
Yeah.
we'll see where this goes and all that. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me and pulling me in here to talk.
I did. I dragged you in here.
It's all
I was
good.
like, Dave, come into my lair. I've got some stuff I want to show you. And I sat
Oh,
you down on
gosh.
this. I said, put your bike down there.
You know, I don't think
turn on the lights, and you're like, what's going on? What am I doing?
I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was getting kidnapped.
Pretty good. But you don't have any money, so we should
Yeah.
kidnap you for money.
I have cool bikes.
Yeah. Give me your bike.
And a cool van.
You do have a cool van now.
It might fit inside of your van.
Check out it. No, it's not that small. It's
but
like
your
an
van's
E350.
It's 250.
250.
But your van's pretty huge.
It's huge.
Massive.
Yes. But yours looks like a 4-wheel drive.
But it's not.
But it's not.
You know, it's kind of like, I heard Reed has a Tacoma. It's just 2-wheel drive.
Oh, is it?
He's got a 2-wheel.
No.
Everybody was giving him crap about it. 2-wheel drive Tacoma. But you know, I'm just as guilty with my 2-wheel drive van that looks like a 4-wheel drive.
Well, we'll get Reed in here.
Yeah.
That gives me some stuff.
Some ammo.
Yeah, some ammo for him too. So I hear you have a Tacoma.
Yeah.
Oh, is it 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive?
This is gonna be like, it's 2-wheel drive.
It's 2-wheel drive. Next question, please.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for doing this. And,
yeah, for sure.
Look out for the next one coming soon.
Oh yeah. See ya.